new.
Yeah. And you know that like model trains in boxes, it stays forever unless you've got a brass model and you've got it in that old foam, then it sort of dissolves everything into a mess. Hey, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Bill's with us today. Oh, we got a full crew today, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to talk about Roy Smith a little bit. Most of you guys know who he is. Some of us know who he is. Some know him better than others. But we're going to talk a little bit about Roy, and then Bill's going to catch us up on some stuff he's been doing. And anyway, Steve, tell us who's here.
Oh boy, we got a crew. Good morning, everybody. We got Rob T-Man. We got Stephen Wigwag. We got old Anderson. We're talking about you in the green room, man. You're crazy. Lynn McCurdy, Gerald Stewart, JD, Grandpa Rails, Schuylkill River Valley, John, Mark Pruitt. Good morning, Mark. Mike McCarville Studios. Allison. Good morning, Allie. Rick's Trains. Got to get you on the show. John Dawson. Let's see who else we got. I know I saw more. Did I say Rob T-Man? I think I did. Who did I miss? I know there's more than that.
I do not know.
Got Bernard. Let's see. Anyway, good morning, guys. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome. And before I forget, I'll probably remember at the end of the show, but we won't be on next week. We won't be here next week unless guys just want to pop in and be in chat. But we're going to show a replay of a show we did with Roy Smith way back several years ago. So
yeah, the fourth show. It was the
fourth show. So we'll replay that on here next week in this time slot. So if you want to come see that, you can. But anyway, today we're kind of going to talk about Roy and what he contributed to the hobby and what he was doing and that sort of thing. And some of you may not know who he is.
Yeah, and you guys in chat, if you want to make any comments, we'll put them on.
Yes. But we definitely join in the conversation.
We tried to get Roy on when we first
Steve.
started the show. We were trying to get it kicked off, and Roy was gracious enough to jump on to try to jumpstart the channel, so to speak. But I spoke with him pretty extensively. I'd forgotten that before that show, so I made several phone calls and video chat. He was a super nice guy. I mean, really nice. But I wasn't aware that he was sick, but I guess his wife had passed away and he went shortly after. So if anybody's got anything they want to say in chat about it, we will pass it on.
Yeah, share your Roy Smith stories. I think a lot of people saw Roy and what he did, and he inspired other people to get into the hobby. And I know a lot of people that he did. And he just was a good ambassador to model trains. I mean, just a great guy. He was from Pennsylvania, I think. Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, somewhere out there. I don't really know exactly where, but he came to Sparky's meet and greet at Steamtown, so he met a lot of people, and it was just a good guy.
Yeah, the first time I heard about Roy was on Steve Brown's show.
Right.
It seems like 10 years ago now. I know it wasn't that long ago, but it seems like it. And Steve was always, would always say, Roy in Panama. And,
that's true.
I was watching some of his stuff, and I'm not really an N-scaler, but I was always impressed with how he was able to build a big layout with just Unitrack and get it to work for him. Because doing sectional track on a big plan is not easy. And I don't know that he had any kind of commercial plan for that, but he did a really good job with it, I thought.
Well, and he kind of made it look a lot lot bigger than it was. His layout really wasn't all that big.
It's
I
a
mean, if you
small
look
bed.
at it on the video, it seems rather large because it's N scale, but it was not very big at all. It was really tiny.
Thanks, Mark, for putting that up there. I didn't know that Roy was even sick, other than the fact that I knew his videos the frequency had kind of dropped off. And I assumed he was having some physical difficulties, because we all do as we get older. So I didn't know exactly what was happening, but then I just heard last week that his wife had died too. So I heard that she died before he did, but I don't know. And of course, there again, I don't know how old they were, and I'm not going to speculate. But
Roy was
just know they were older.
74. Roy was 74.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So here's the crazy thing I found out later, just recently. Roy's mother is still alive in Pennsylvania. She's 95.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Roy's son has been posting on Roy's channel, and he has a channel too. His channel is Mike Smith, and Mike had a video on his channel, bedside with Roy, and Mike is reading comments from Roy's Facebook group that people well wishes to get better, and yeah, it's kind of touching and sad, and yeah, it's just but yeah.
And
So
I think Roy was, I know he was in the military.
yeah, I think
But
he was
I
in
don't
the
know
Air
if he was
Force. I'm not sure.
I don't know if he
Somebody
was in Vietnam or not. But if
Somebody
he
posted he
was,
was in the Army.
Army? Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
I don't know if he was in
Mark-
Vietnam or not, but I know there was a lot of Vietnam vets, had trouble with health later on, just because of the environment they were in, the chemicals and stuff that the U.S. used in some places. I had a brother-in-law that died of kidney cancer, and was probably directly a result of that. But I don't know if that was what caused it or not. I'm not speculating there. I just know that a lot of the Vietnam vets had problems with cancer later on in life, because a lot of the stuff they were around. And of course, it could be, if you were in the Air Force or something, it could be jet fuels that you're around, stuff like that. All that kind of stuff can cause problems. But yeah, it's condolences to his family, because I don't know his family, but I know it's not easy losing a parent. So.
Well, Steve Anderson said he really was the slowest model railroader. He was slow. He did things very methodically and was always changing his layout to improve and keep up with the times.
He was very much a solid modeler. He always enjoyed watching what he did, and I always liked the fact that he never took himself too seriously. He'd with some of his characters and have fun with the hobby, rather than trying to be, this is how we should do it, and this is what I do. Everything is great, blah blah blah. He had fun and drew people into the hobby and conversations around model trains.
I always liked his little deal at the end where he had people send in pictures of their layouts and stuff, and he'd go over those. That was always kind of fun.
Yeah.
Just to see some of the other different ones, because I went to a lot of channels because of that.
Yeah.
Well, I sent pictures to him too of mine, and he used them pretty frequently, which was nice. And he he did white foam, which was something I did, and so I kind of related to the little white foam pebbles.
Yeah, because once you start whittling that stuff, you can't get rid of it.
Yeah, if anybody's done mountains in white foam, they know.
Yeah. I remember doing that one time as a kid, taking a piece of styrofoam and rubbing the edge of it, and those beads going everywhere. And I mean, you go out looking like a snowman because it's all stuck to you, and you can't get it off.
Yeah.
I think I finally had to use a shop vac to suck it all off of me, but yeah.
What? And Bernard says he liked having. I liked Roy having lived there in Echo Canyon. We shared more than a hobby. I didn't know you lived in Echo Canyon, Bernard. I drove through it at night a couple weeks ago, so I wouldn't. No, I was there, but I never saw it. I went through Evanston, and it was dark. I couldn't see that, so it kind of sucked.
Yeah, Mark said Roy was a good guy, and when he was just getting started with his YouTube channel, he mentioned me in one of his videos, and it really gave the channel a boost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He was an ambassador to the hobby.
He was.
Yeah.
The little bit I knew about him, I did realize that just from watching any of his shows. You could just watch one of them, and you would realize that.
He included everybody. He didn't cherry pick big channels, and he talked about everybody. Little channels, big channels.
Yeah, it didn't matter what you were modeling.
Yeah, he wasn't. He didn't care if you did HO. I mean, he was like model trains. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been neat to sit down at dinner with him sometime and just pick his brain on stuff, because he was very knowledgeable. I know people used to ask him about why are you in Panama, which I kind of wondered too. I mean, I can understand. I think he was stationed there, and that's where when he met his wife. But it's still strange to me. I wouldn't want to stay there, I wouldn't think. But then I've never been there, so I don't know.
It looked beautiful. I remember seeing pictures of his house, like he'd go outside or something. It looked really beautiful there. I don't know.
I've heard people say
that where he was actually at Panama?
Why is Bill in Thailand?
Yeah, exactly.
It's beautiful there. Yeah.
Yeah.
The story.
Yeah. There's a draw to a place, and for Roy had one too that drew him where he was.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I think part of it was her family was there and all that, and
I guess he didn't want
he
to
liked it there. So, and that's great. I mean, that's I've got no problem with somebody being an expat like that. But if you've got the reason to be there, I couldn't do it myself. But that doesn't mean anything either.
No.
John said Roy was an military intelligence officer. Is that what MI is?
Oh, is that what it was? Oh,
He was stationed in Panama and retired there. I knew he was stationed there. I remember him saying that, but I didn't know what he did. I don't know that he ever said.
Yeah.
He could have, and I just missed it. But yeah, military intelligence. That's kind of a, what do they call that?
Oxymoron.
Oxymoron, yeah.
Contradiction in terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Lynn said it looked like Panama City looked like Miami. Yeah, that's the kind of look that I've never been to Miami, but I've seen pictures and stuff of it. And,
well, I have been to Miami, but I haven't been to Panama City. But the pictures I've seen of Panama City do look like Miami.
Yeah.
In some regard.
Yeah, palm trees and just yeah.
Roy shared. Okay, Lynn says Roy shared pictures of Panama City near where he lived. Yeah, it looked like Miami.
Yeah,
exactly. It's it's on the coast and it's a big city. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was when he was talking about it originally. But as far as I know, it was a good place to live. I've heard a lot of people say that. Rick Strange, my brother-in-law does medical clinics in Panama. He has invited me to go a few times, never can get the time needed to go. Yeah.
Hey, Georgia Sunbelt. What's up, Anthony? Good morning.
Yeah. Traveling's a good thing. If you've got the means to do it and the time to do it, it can be a good thing. You got to be careful some places that you go, but
yeah. And what planes you fly on? You don't want to fly on some planes.
I know my grandkids just got back from Guatemala. They were out in they were south of Guatemala City somewhere. They were on a mission trip with the church, but they went down there and really enjoyed their time down there. So, and they were out away from stuff. So, they enjoyed it. I don't know if they'd want to stay there, but they had a good time while they were there.
Some places are nice to visit.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know until you get there.
Yeah, right.
So
it's like anything else, right? You can hype up whatever it is. You can hype up an area, hype up a food, hype up this and that until you experience it. Then you can make your own choice on whether it was worth the hype or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
I forgot that, Lynn.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, they were funny.
I forgot he did that. That was, I'll have to go back and watch some of those.
Roy's voice. Roy had a voice. Roy's voice was like, it was made for radio. Like, he was like, I mean, not to say that he wasn't a good-looking guy, but he just had a good voice, you know?
Yeah, he had that radio voice or announcer voice.
Like, he could, his voice was just great.
Yeah, but I'd forgotten that. Thanks, man,
like,
for bringing that up. I completely forgot about that part of it.
Like, his delivery was always the same. It wasn't like, just in case. He was funny, but funny in Roy's way, you know? It was like, he didn't change his character.
And I'm going to say that's where Mark Pruitt got his video style, was from Roy.
Oh, yeah?
Now that I think about it, they're about the same. And how they were doing stuff.
Kind of a dry
here. Anybody else got anything you want to share about Roy? I didn't know him personally, so I just remember hearing about him on Steve's show.
I never got to meet him. I would have liked to. I just started like coming around to the model community at that Steamtown event that Sparky did, and I just wasn't able to get up there. I would have liked to have got there to meet a lot of the guys like Rory.
Yeah, there again, we need to do one further out on this side of the country, west of the Mississippi. I understand doing it back east, and especially in the Northeast, because it's so populated back there and stuff's a little closer together than it is out here, but it sure would be nice to have it. We do one at Train Mountain.
I was going to say, do it at Train Mountain.
It's a little far, though, Train Mountain. What's in the middle?
The middle what?
The middle of the country.
Farmland. Dennis and I are in the middle.
Is there no excursion railroads in the middle of the country?
No. Well, there's one.
Not that would be worth
St. Louis.
A lot of money to get there on.
Yeah, there's one in
Illinois Railroad Museum,
Van Buren and Fayetteville, I think. But I wouldn't travel very far to go
Arkansas, but it's like a mile out and a mile back. You turn on a Y.
Oh yeah, that's Eureka Springs. Yeah. It's not worth traveling to. And the Boston Mountains, something or other excursion. I wouldn't travel very far to go ride that either. I've never been on it, but I can't imagine it being good enough to go, several hundred miles to go ride it.
To do the Oregon Coast Scenic
Railroad in Oregon. Colorado is about as close to the middle of the country you can get that's worth traveling to. The Cumbers and Toltec
and Durango,
Southern or Silverton, Durango and Silverton.
Yeah,
and not everybody might want to spend $200 on a train ticket, though.
Right.
Well, the problem with getting there is you can't just fly in. You'd fly to some place like Santa Fe, maybe, or Albuquerque, and then have to drive up from there, or to Denver and drive south. You're not going to just fly right into there, at least not cheaply. It's really a car trip. And
how far are you guys from the Illinois Railroad Museum?
I mean, where's it at?
16 hours, I think, give or take.
Really, that far? Illinois? I don't know where.
Might have been more than that. I can't.
Really, that far?
I've driven to Chicago. Well, I actually drove from Chicago down here. I flew up, drove down. I think it was about 16 hours. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's about 11 hours, I think, to Chicago from here. And that's if you've got good traffic through St. Louis and stuff like that. But yeah, it's quite a ways. Is it in Chicago? I don't know where it's at.
I don't know. I'm trying to.
I would imagine it would be in Chicago, or at least someplace close up there.
ascertain that.
It could be further south.
I've been
It's further
to the
south.
Chicago
It'd be closer.
Museum up near Chicago. It was north of Chicago, as I recall, but I couldn't tell you the name of it.
Mark Pruitt's modeling that area. Chime in, Mark, and where that is. But yeah, anyway, that would be a possibility too.
McHenry County? I don't know where that is.
Mike.
Yeah, it's northwest of downtown Chicago.
Mike says have it at his house in Denver. He has a big basement. Bring a sleeping bag. I was going to say, you're going to put us all up?
Union, Illinois.
You
ever hear that? Union, Illinois?
Union, Illinois. No, but I'm not from that part of the country, so.
Me either.
John Benanke says it's from West Chicago. Nice museum. Not a long
12 hours. 12 hours from me. 829 miles.
I think the better trip would be Cumberson Toltec. Would be even better than Durango and Silverton for length of train ride and cost. But there again, it's not near any major hubs, so you're gonna have a conglomeration of how to get there. You're gonna have to fly out or drive all the way out, and then you're gonna have to drive from the airport up there. But it would be a great place to do a train ride, but I don't know. You'd have to be in Durango or Alamosa maybe to actually have the meetup. Those are a little bit bigger towns. Chama and Antonito would not be a great place to actually have the meetups.
Maybe we could just meet up at Dennis's house.
There you go. There's definitely nothing at Dennis's house.
I'm all for Michael McCarville's house. I think that's the best solution.
Dennis's would be a good place to go if there was something around there that could hold everybody. But there's just no towns there.
I mean,
anywhere close.
Hotel in Woodward.
Tents.
That's about it.
I would recommend that.
Tents. Yeah, I've got enough. My backyard's big enough. You could definitely put up a few tents if you wanted to. We'd have to get a porta potty though, because I'm not having people come into the house constantly to use a bathroom.
Yeah, I don't blame
yeah, and there's Elko, Nevada, out there where Bernard is, and the northern Nevada is out there. But I don't know how long a ride that is either. Maybe Bernard can stick that in the. Oh, you just wish I'd stay out there, Mike. But anyway, yeah, I'd love to get one together, but that's the problem with having it on the west part of the country is it's so far apart from everything.
Maybe we'll work on that. We'll start talking about where to spot, and then you want to come. You don't. That's all.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much how Sparky does it. It's Sparky's vacation. Here he's going to be. You want to come? There's stuff to do.
Hey, do it on the Oregon Coast Scenic Railroad, and I can hook you all up with a cab ride.
That'd be nice.
There you go.
That'd be nice, huh?
Yeah, and that part of Oregon is beautiful, by the way.
It's beautiful.
There's a lot of stuff to see in that. Up around where Steve lives, there's a lot of stuff up there. I still say Train Mountain would be the place to go. But there again, it's not near anything big.
Nope.
You're still making connecting flights trying to get in just even to Medford, which is still a couple hours away.
Well, you can fly to Klamath Falls.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's only 30 minutes away. Anyway, what was I going to do here?
I don't know.
Oh, I was going to set this picture up. Bill's going to tell us about something that he's doing in his other home away from home.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget to tell us about the new home for that behind you.
Yeah. We'll do 2 topics here.
Yeah, go ahead and tell us about that first, Bill, while we got you on the screen.
Okay. So I think everybody that's a frequent listener here on this show has heard me talk that I've been looking to donate the ON30. Oh, I got my thumbs up. Cool. Okay. So I've been working with some local gentlemen who are part of model railroading groups, organizations, also museums, and got confirmation yesterday that in about 2, maybe 3 weeks, the ON30 is going to go to the Virginia Transportation Museum down in Roanoke. So it's what I wanted. I wanted to have the layout go to a place that a lot of people are going to be able to see it, and this is where it's going to go. So working out the logistics to get it down there. There is a model railroad club that has an O-scale layout down in a lower level at the museum. So what they're working with is they're going to be talking to the museum director to see if we can get mine in and then put it together, at least temporarily, and have it be either a static or a semi-operable display in the main level of the museum. That we'll see what happens before eventually maybe it goes downstairs or maybe it stays upstairs as a permanent display. We'll see. This morning I've been taking loose things off of the layout, boxing them up. What I told them I would do is that everything that was on the layout when the guys were here a couple of months ago, go with the layout. So they're getting in some engines, they're getting some cars, they're getting, power packs, they're getting the little smoke scenes, they're getting all the details that are on it. Everything that's underneath, I'm keeping, and that's a whole bunch of O-scale stuff that I've tossed down there because I will use all of that in the future. And I still got a ton of ON30 that I bought over the past couple of years. In the future, I'll be doing something else with that. But that's nice. I'll be able to have a good new home here in the near future. And again, exactly what I wanted. It's going to be there to hopefully inspire some youngins as they come in and take a look at it, and little kids looking up, going ooh and ah.
I think what will be really cool is people will just be able to go see it. Like anybody, your YouTube followers can actually go see it. And
I think that too. I got it out last year for the Greenberg show here in Richmond, and it was kids and adults. And it's exactly what I was hoping for. And you're right. It goes on to a permanent display where it's going to get seen, most every day by people. We can get like a little plaque or a little something on the layout, donated by, yours truly. And Jerry had a good idea, QR code for YouTube, or at least my YouTube channel name, bringing in more people. It keeps things going, and hopefully it'll
just to get people interested in the hobby.
Yeah. So I'm happy about that. I'll go down with them when they take the layout down, help put it together, kind of cover the nuances of the layout with anybody around that cares to listen, and get it set up and plug it in and make it run for them. So I'll have some fun with it too. And it's not that far that, when I'm back in Virginia, if I want to go down and take a look, I can drive. It's probably about 3.5 hours from here, Roanoke, down the far southwest corner. So I'm happy about that.
Okay, so then tell us about this.
All
if I can find it here. Hang on a second. There we go.
Okay. So this is back in Thailand from actually probably about 12 hours ago. So what you see is the first post going up in what will eventually be a roughly 22 by 26 foot building. If you look on the ground and the bottom of the picture, you can see some metal square or rectangle tubes. You look on the far left, you can see that wrapping around. And then if you look behind the guy in the lime green shirt way in the background, some more tubes. So that's the outline of a building that's going to be used for a little bit of storage. I'm going to have a little work area in there, and the rest of that is going to be model railroad. So that is the very first post for the building going up, and they had a local celebration to, like for good luck on the building, to give it the blessings, good karma, however you want to describe it, for the start of construction for the building there. And that's a lot of the villagers that are around there, village elders, and some other pictures, some of the construction guys that I've used in other projects there already, helping to set that post. So by the time I go back in a little over maybe a month, maybe a little less, the roof should be on it. The walls should be up. It should be to the point where I can go in and I can decide where I want electric. If I want, what kind of windows to go with some openings, a variety of different things. But that will slowly have model trains running it. And then I'll be able to start producing more videos again, because I'll have a little workspace in there. And, like the next time I go back, probably both suitcases are going to be mostly model railroad stuff. I've got clothing. I've got everything else I need there. I don't need a whole lot. So I'm taking trains with me when I head back.
Nice.
Like
Pack 'em up.
we were talking before, that's a concrete post. So all of the posts are concrete, because if you have most types of wood, if you put it in ground contact, essentially the local version of termites are going to be in it, chewing holes in it almost instantly. So it'll be concrete posts that are set in. They're 4x4s, rebarred. They're built really well, and metal frame, like beefier metal than what we use for like studs here. They're complete tubing, rectangular tubing, 1x2, 2x4. You can get them in different sizes. They'll build it according to how it needs to be and go from there.
So Anderson says, so that was 12 hours ago, and you contracted to build it, and be sure it's done when you get back. So you're the rich guy in town?
Well, by American standards, no, we're sort of poor, but by there, that building will cost me maybe $5,000 US. So I'm not complaining. You can get portable buildings, you can get containers. This seemed to be the best option to get a very nice building for use for storage and other activities associated with what I've got going on. So it should be fun.
Rob T-Man says you can be known as Train Man Bill of Thailand.
Now that could actually happen in a couple of years. So, again, another thing we were talking in the green room before the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dennis wants to know.
Basically 220. So yeah, I'm going to have to, I've got the converters for power packs. So it's not a big deal to convert the power down to, 120. But
so their normal voltage is 220.
Yeah. Pretty much everywhere except for here seems to be 220. Europe, it's 220. There it's 220. Japan, China, every place else pretty much is.
Well, Dennis is known as the Train Man of May, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
True story.
To go. But going back to what they said about, Train Man of Thailand, I've shown videos and shown the channel to a number of the local folks, just showing them what I do, because, I took a bunch of kits and other things with me to play with. And they thought it was fantastic. They couldn't believe, it looked real and it run and all of this fun stuff. So I've gotten suggestions to, at some point, make like a tourist attraction, not where I live, but, a different city that has a bigger population, put up like a building and put in model railroad and tickets. Sell tickets for admission, because they say there is absolutely nothing like that anywhere in Thailand or close that they're aware of. So could have, nice model railroad in there, like what I've talked about before, O scale, HON, all kind of coming together in a canyon sort of thing. Have some fun with that. Also have like Lionel, other old sets that can be destroyed, set up for kids to actually run, have fun with. A whole bunch of different options. You know, I could have like a little food court because there's some really good cooking that goes on in the village that is better than some of the Western stuff. You know, there could be a whole bunch of things that, even though I technically couldn't own it, I could work with some people and make some fun stuff happen so that I could continue having fun with the hobby even beyond this building that's being built.
Yeah. Steve brought that to mind. You going being carried through the village. I think you should have your own elephant, is what I think.
They don't have any that's too close, which is good because they trample through everything. But
yeah. Bernard says if you had 220 on HO, that'd be like Back to the Future, you know.
Yeah.
You're shooting down the rails and changing time
hit that whatever
time zones.
So
Anthony, Georgia Sunbelt wants to know, is the bench work going to be concrete?
The bench work is probably going to be bamboo. So we kind of talked about this a couple of
That'd
weeks.
be interesting to see. Bamboo.
Bamboo is
Yeah,
indestructible.
I'm looking forward to seeing how it all unveils.
The bugs do not really like to eat bamboo, and there's bamboo everywhere. So it's something that I can get, and I'll kind of play with on building it. But I could make bamboo frames. You know, I could make like girder construction literally out of bamboo.
Really?
And, I could use like bamboo slats for like wall decoration.
Man,
and make it look like Gilligan's Island, and that's kind
that
of
sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Steve Anderson, of course, coming from Anderson, he said you can make a jungle railway. But then when I read that, I immediately thought of Bridge Over the River Kwai.
So
You could do a scene like that. Would be really cool.
Gilligan's Island just seconds before Bill mentioned it.
Yeah, so I've got that vision in my head, and I can make that happen. You know, I've already got like visuals of what I think I can do and what it would look like. But like the Jungle Railroad, eventually, yeah, you know, that's something that I will do. Again, if I would happen to do the touristy thing, what I've already thought of doing is go into like the Thailand Ministry of Railroads, get some history and some of what they consider to be the most photogenic spots, so that I could recreate
cool.
and scale some of the equipment. I have to look because I don't know what type of or who the builders were of railroad equipment from long ago, if it was European, other Asian countries, you know, but I'll find stuff that looks similar and build things that are familiar for the local Thai population as well, because they might ooh and ah over, you know, spectacular Western or Eastern U.S. scenery, but have something that ties it to their home.
Yeah. When you see something that you can relate to and you've seen, it's even more, I don't know, mesmerizing, I guess.
Yeah,
you know,
more impactful because
sure.
Wait a minute, I know where that is. Or
when they can relate to something, it's like, you know, yeah.
Well, that's like train shows here. There's, you know, they're usually modular groups that set up a layout. And one of them that comes to mind is they do they have a module of the Blue Whale, which is up here in Catoosa, not 5-6 miles from me. It's a big giant concrete whale that's in a pond. Guy built in this pond. It's got diving boards and slides and stuff like that off of it. And it's a big landmark on Route 66. And so you see that, people see that on the layout, and that draws lots of people over because they go, oh, I know where that is.
Yeah.
You know, they've seen it before. So, and it's very iconic. So, yeah, that draws people into the model railroad that way.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, you know, with this building in the back of the house, that, you know, I build nice layout like I want, HO and N scale, because I can get lots of equipment in a suitcase, you know, come back home. It's like I came back home and I had a suitcase inside a suitcase. And in the first suitcase, it was like a pair of shoes and a couple of shirts, because I don't need to bring back stuff. But going back, both suitcases are going to be mostly model trains and a few other odds and ends. And then when I come back again late in the fall for the holidays, go back. I can take more trains. I'll continue to do that. But I'll probably, I probably will do something along the lines of a small layout for like kids, even in this building, because there's, a handful of kids in the village, and it'd be just kind of fun to get their excitement level up.
Yeah.
Be sort of the junky old trains that if they hit the floor, they hit the floor. Like, let the kids have some fun like we did when we were little. Let them build block walls and let the train crash through, all of the fun stuff that we did that got us excited about the hobby. Mm-hmm. So I got all kinds of fun ideas. We'll just see how it all plays out.
Yeah. Well, so for a floor for that building, you do concrete?
So a lot of it is concrete. It's like hand mixed and hand poured, and then tile on top of it.
Okay.
So I don't know if they'll be to that point when I get back. There will be, I wouldn't call it footers, but, kind of be like that. They'll dig down about 6 inches and then make forms and pour a concrete pad that cinder blocks will be able to go on to go in between the concrete posts to form the walls of this. There's no frost, there's no frost heave. They'll dig that post because that post that we saw in the picture has sort of a wedge-shaped base, and then they'll pack dirt and concrete around it so that it's not going anywhere.
I'm guessing you don't have an issue with buildings being blown down with a typhoon then, huh?
No, and it's far enough in that if a typhoon were to hit like Vietnam square on, by the time it got there, could get heavy rain, but get heavy rain almost every day, and some wind, but not a lot of wind. So yeah, not too worried about it. We've had some wind blow through, but it was more like the gust front in front of a thunderstorm where you might get some windy conditions for a few minutes as a roll cloud blows over you, and then it starts to pour rain.
Yeah, and they take in drainage, I'm assuming, into consideration.
Oh, heck no. It's it's just that the soils are so porous, it can rain and just the water soaks in and it's gone.
It does look sandy. It looks like a very sandy loam there.
Silt. Yeah, it is. Silt is what it is, actually. Pick it up and it's dusty. So, but I will landscape around. There'll be plants. I'll get some loads of gravel to make gravel walkways to keep the dust down. Rain, maybe put a gutter on just to kind of divert the splash to another end where it'll kind of drain away into the fields quickly.
Yeah, definitely different different building technique there.
Yeah.
Sure.
How much of it are you going to document on your channel? Are you going to start documenting the building of the building? Are you going to, or do you have a point in mind in which you're going to start doing that?
As soon as I get back to there is when I will start documenting. So that's when I will start to produce more for the channel. It won't be, every week for a while, because if I'm just talking about a building going up, there's only so much I can talk about. So maybe every couple of weeks for a while until I get electricity, and then I start getting materials. And then when I get to that point, then I'll start doing more frequent videos like I used to do on construction here. You'll see Gilligan's Island take shape. We'll see whatever I come up with for the layouts, trials and tribulation of building in where temperatures seldom get below 95, 96 during the day, upper 80s at night. I'll get a small air conditioning unit to put in there to at least keep it so that it maybe is like 85 in there for the most part. But again, all future state. There'll be a lot of stuff, and I won't know exactly what it looks like until I get back.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see the bamboo pedal car. That's going to be so cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too, because that's one of the things that I really like. If I can find a channel that's, kind of starting at the ground floor and there's nothing in the room, or they're building the room, or whatever it is,
it's interested
in watching that.
Yeah. And while I'm stateside, as I get some construction photos, I'll share. I'll send a few to Claude, each week as I get some that
Post them. You should post them on your community page.
Well, I will. I will
Sure.
too. I will do that as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing a video right now of the
Cool.
ON30 just announcing, hey, it's got a new
Awesome.
all that. I'll probably,
Good. Yeah. I'm sure
Sorry about that, but I
your
lost
viewers will
everybody's
be
sound.
excited to hear. Say again, Claude?
I lost everybody's sound there for a second. It just went.
Oh.
It just went away, and then it came back. So I don't know. Anyway, sorry about that. I was going to ask a question just before that happened too. Now I know what it was.
Forgot. Yeah, I was going to ask if he did something to tell his subscribers where the layout's going and what he's up to. And
yeah, that one's in progress.
good deal.
Yeah, I've got video that I shot before I left, talking that I was looking to get somebody in to talk about it, and I had the trains running. And then this morning I shot the next segment of that video and noted that, hey, it's been like 2.5 months elapsed since I shot this to where we are.
Yeah.
And here's where it's going.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
Well, I remember what I was going to say now. You said something about getting in on the ground floor of a channel, Dennis was. And I wanted to say that's exactly what happened with me watching Dennis. I got in when he was still building the building.
Yeah.
On it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're in my first 10 subscribers.
Yeah, it was, and I don't even know where I got the channel name from. I may have just popped up somewhere, and I thought, oh,
yeah,
that's
because
interesting.
I'm pretty sure you were cautionary with a certain amount of my electricity that was going on.
Oh, no, it wasn't
I think
caution.
Sparky's my 3rd subscriber. I can't remember.
Dennis, did you follow Claude?
I followed him back. Yeah.
No. Like, how did Claude find you or you find Claude?
I don't remember.
You don't know.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Claude found me first.
How did he find you? Doesn't know.
Yeah, but I don't remember. I don't remember.
I think it was because I can't remember where in, the evolution of the channel that Wilmer.
Sparky, maybe?
And,
Wilmer.
Could have been Wilmer.
Yeah. Wilmer, Sparky, one of them guys.
Because he didn't have a layout then.
Who? He's in Arizona. His name just.
Vinny?
Yeah, Vinny.
Okay.
Vinny shouted me out, and Wilmer shouted me out, and that's kind of when I got my first 100 subscribers, give or take.
Were you always Otter Creek?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I picked him up when he was still building the building. And I wasn't trying to correct anything. I was trying to give you some practical
advice. You're trying to keep me from burning down the building, I think, is what your concern was.
You were. I was making sure you weren't going to put a electrical connection.
Hey, Wilmer.
In the wall that you couldn't get to. That's, I think, what it was.
Yeah, there's Wilmer.
But yeah, because you want that in the junction box you can get to if you have to.
I have to go back and watch those early ones. I don't
remember where because I watched all of this.
I probably found you from Wilmer.
Yeah,
that's probably where I found you from, Wilmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's where I found him. It had to be because I don't know where else I would have picked you up from.
Yeah,
but I
how's
think
the
it was
connection
because
with your
something
time?
you said you were going to be narrow gauge, and that's why I went over there.
Well, I don't know because I'd have to look again, but I'm pretty sure you're one of my first 10 subscribers, and I think I don't know, maybe I didn't have more than 10 subscribers when Wilmer and Vinny shouted me out, but I guess it could be.
Yeah, that had to be where I heard about you, and he had to have said something about you being narrow gauge because otherwise I wouldn't have jumped right over, and I wouldn't have hung around you building the building to get to the layout had it not been.
Yeah, because I
big interest in me.
Sparky also came in and said something about the electricity too. I can't remember, and I thought, well,
I have to go back and watch
like Sparky, I probably should listen to what he has to say.
Yeah, he'd be smarter than me. Like I say, mine was very minor what I was telling you to do, but it was still fairly important.
Well, you guys are going to have fun when I start showing that on that building in Thailand.
I'm looking forward to it.
There are no codes.
Hey, Bill, it's all concrete. It's not going to burn down.
This is true.
Except for the bamboo.
I don't see bamboo. Bamboo does burn. So
Yes, it does. Anyway.
Hey,
Hey,
real
Dennis,
quick, I want to
how's
share.
the connection?
I want to share what I've been doing.
Oh, go for it, Jerry. You going to show us something?
Yeah, I'm going to show you something.
Okay.
So one Saturday after the show, I went to my local hobby store. It's been there for 50 plus years. Picked up one of these that they had in stock. That's not it. And I built it on one of my shows. Let me see if, sorry for that real quick. And it's a Proto 2000 kit. I'm going to patch it out, but it's a really nice kit. I was really surprised how the detail is with this kit. So it prompted me to, let me shut this off. I found 4 of them. Sorry. I found 4 of them on eBay, and they were a good price. Different roads, but I'm going to build these next on my live streams. That's it.
You can't patch out a WP.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Watch me. I'm going to do it.
That's the attitude right there. Don't tell me what I can and can't do on my own channel.
I mean, it's cool, but like, I don't know, man. It's just
But why
not going
don't
to be
you
on my
just take a
railroad.
Santa Fe and stick it in my heart, man? Patch out a Santa Fe.
Can I just weather it? Maybe I'll weather it, okay? Really fade it and make it look shitty.
That's
But I'm going to patch these. These are New York Centrals. That's what these are.
Yeah.
I'm patching them out. So.
Well, don't patch all of them because you always need an oddball in the mix.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
There's always got to be a road that you're going, how in the hell did that one get here?
Maybe this will be it.
Yeah. I mean, of course, nowadays it's very common, but even back when I was a kid, I remember seeing trains go up Cajon Pass, which was mainly Santa Fe. So a little bit of Southern Pacific might be mixed in, maybe some Union Pacific, but then you'd see something like, I don't know, Norfolk Southern or something going up Cajon Pass, and you're going, how did that get all the way over here?
Yeah,
you know,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you would see all that kind of stuff. And as a kid, I didn't think that much about it, but now as I remember back and going, wow, they had shuffled those cars around a bunch over the years. You know, they get mixed up.
Maybe this will be my oddball. I'll just weather it up, make it look old and crappy.
Yeah.
I don't want to make Steve.
There again, you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You've distraught him so much that he just had to leave, Jerry.
Probably. Yeah, that's what.
He did. He left, didn't he?
I plan to patch these out first, Steve or Dave, before I build them. Yeah.
Well, Steve Anderson's got a GP9 Santa Fe that he's going to repaint or give away. I don't know where
is it an N scale or HO? What is it, HO?
I think Steve's N scale, aren't you? Steve, isn't your stuff N scale?
Yeah, give it away.
I don't remember what he told us now. Anyway.
No, I like Claude's idea of this being an oddball. Like how
it doesn't have to be that one, it'd be any of them, but yeah.
Yeah. No,
there's always that one that you see a whole line of gondola cars or something, or box cars that have got fresh paint on them, and then there's one in there that looks like, where the hell did they pick this up at?
Yeah,
you know, it's rusted and beat up.
Train of oddballs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you see that too.
All of the stuff that Lynn gave me, with the exception of maybe, I think there's a couple of Southern Pacific, and I think there's one Colorado and Southern car. The rest of them are nothing that you would ever see in Colorado, I don't think. So it'll be a whole train. What's that doing there?
Yeah.
Well, I've even got a narrow gauge white pass and Yukon white pass, or white pass and Yukon. boxcar or a gondola or something. And I don't know if I'm going to leave it like that or not, but yeah, I've got some of that, and I don't think those would have ever been there.
Specifically not purchased anything that says white pass, even though there's a lot of things that are narrow gauge that you can get, but
yeah,
just because.
Well, there's, and of course nowadays they've got locomotives from up there. So,
if you're
in fact,
modern,
some of the steam, or I say some, I know of one, and I can't remember the number on it, was brought back from the White Pass after the war back down to Durango. So they definitely did move them around like that, even the motive power.
Yeah.
Steve, I decided I'm going to keep it. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, Anderson said he's HO scale. Steve, Anderson said he's got a GP9 in Santa Fe that he's either going to give away or repaint.
No, it's your railroad. You can pass it if you want to.
No, I'm going to keep it. Claude had a good idea. It could be my oddball. Why is it here? It's going to be an oddball.
Hey, Anderson, if you want to really piss off Steve, just paint it a BNSF.
Ooh.
That's all I ever see out here.
Oh, that's all there is anymore, yeah. Well, I take it back. When we go down to Galveston to get on the cruise ship, I've said this before, there's a huge yard down there that they've just dumped locomotives in. Half of them are so rusty you can't hardly tell what the paint was anymore. That salt air, they're just sitting there rusting away. But they've got the old paint scheme, Santa Fe paint scheme. There's some of the Santa Fe Southern Pacific paint schemes. And there's a few BNSF, and not very many, but most of them are Santa Fe. And I'm assuming that's a Santa Fe yard down there in Galveston on the island.
Where is it at? In Galveston, Texas?
Yeah, it's Galveston, Texas, and it's on the island. It's on the north side of Galveston Island, right after you come across the bridge from the mainland down on the island, and you turn toward the port, which is on the west end of the island. I mean, the east end of the island. Right along that whole line, there's a whole bunch of engines, diesel engines and stuff down along there.
Well, it's kind of sad when you think how old you are that you ran that stuff when it was brand new. It was the new Super Chief, Super Fleet, and now it's scrap rusting away. I mean, yeah, where'd the time go?
Yeah, it's wild because there's so much of it there. And that, like I say, it must be the boneyard for their engines because they just take them down there. And of course, being surrounded by salt air, it's going to take them long to melt that or rust that metal up.
Well, Steve, you would be happy to know that the engines that are running around here, SD40s, were Conrail built in 77, 79. They're still running now.
That's because those things were bulletproof even back in the day.
Yeah.
I think the SD40-2 was probably the best one EMD ever built.
Yeah.
So the SD42?
Yeah,
SD40-2.
Oh, okay.
The -2s.
That's probably one of my favorite modern.
Yeah,
those are
locomotives.
modern anymore, but
yeah, they were the ones with the platforms on the front and the back.
Had the big front porch.
Yeah.
They rode great. They pulled great. They were just good engines.
Yeah.
Still are.
Still are.
I think I've got an N-scale MKT that's a 40-2, if I remember right.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I put it in the box.
Yeah, Dave said the longest running locos ever.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Aside from steam.
All righty. Well, that's just about our time, guys. Next week, remember, we won't be here on camera. Some of us may be in chat, but we're going to replay that show we did with Roy Smith. If you want to come back and see that, it'll be here. And until then, have a good 2 weeks. Have a safe holiday.
Happy Labor Day.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend.
Have a good Labor Day. And
hey, Dave.
And we will see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Later.
Good.
See you, everybody.
Balloons.